So module flow, so we're going to discuss the footprinting concepts, the methodology, the tools, the countermeasures, and penetration testing, right? So now we're going to jump into part 2, footprinting methodology. So we just discussed the concepts, now we're going to discuss the methodology. So the methodology consists of these steps, and there are 10 of them. And then we're going to discuss footprinting through search engines, footprinting using advanced Google hacking techniques, and then social networking sites, website footprinting, email footprinting, competitive intelligence, who is footprinting, DNS footprinting, network footprinting, and footprinting through social engineering. So you're just trying to gather, what does their network look like? You know, what is the footprint of this thing? Have they left any tracks around? So footprinting through search engines. Attackers use search engines to extract information about a target, such as technology platforms, employee details, login page, intranet portals, etc., which helps in performing social engineering and other types of advanced system attacks. You can't discount social engineering. It's like the #1 thing today. The egress points are very heavily defended. People are struggling with that, trying to get into them, so they just go in for the social engineering attack. And it's a lot easier to find the infrastructure. And it also helps hide the attacks, right? It's a little less obvious in some cases. So search engine caches and internet archives. So we just talked about this a little bit. They may also provide sensitive information that have been removed from the web. So not only has it been removed, maybe, but you can also find stuff that's been left around. So you can use the search engine caches, what's left over in the search engines from previously, and then the archive.org. And there's several of them, not just one of them. Archive.org is a specific one, but there's several different ones that you can use. So finding a company's public and restricted websites. You search for the target company's external URL in a search engine, such as Google, Bing, etc. And restricted URLs provide an insight into different departments and business units in an organization. And you may find companies' restricted URLs by trial and error using a service such as netcraft.com. So netcraft is your first tool that they're mentioning here, besides archive.org, and that's one that you'll see on the test. So you'll have to say what kind of a tool is netcraft. So it's used for finding companies' restricted URLs. So it's a website crawler, right? It's a footprinting tool. So here's a search engine results for Microsoft using netcraft. Determining the other operating systems. One more thing I want to say about this is you could also use wget for this kind of thing, and then burp as well. Burp will go and troll the entire site. It's called spidering in burp. It has a specific name. So in burp, it's called spidering. So burp does this as well. Determining the operating system. So you can use the netcraft tool to determine the OS is in use by the target org, or you can use different types of tools. It depends on what kind of access you have to the network, how close you are, that kind of thing. You can use something called POF also. It's a passive operating system fingerprinting tool. And there's several other methods as well. Just the Nmap scans may also yield what OS it is. Determining the operating system. So we can also use Shodan search engine that lets you find specific computers, routers, servers, etc. using a variety of filters. So Shodan started out as an industrial tool only, but it's turned into an Internet of Things collector. So there's a lot of good information in Shodan. So Shodan is definitely something you want to search when you're conducting an assessment. And then collecting location information. So you want to geolocate where their stuff is. So Google Earth is a tool you can use to get the physical location of the target. Sometimes you may need more information to do that. Tools for finding the geographical location are Google Maps, Wikimapia, National Geographic Maps, and Yahoo Maps, and Bing Maps. Something else I want to say about the search engines, like Google in the last 2 years has started filtering out a lot of information. So if you're looking for a dark type of information, Google is likely going to filter it out. So you may need to use a different search engine. So Dogpile is another good one. There's many of them out there. You might want to spend some time reading just on what search engines are out there. People search, social networking sites, people searching services. Social networking sites are a great source of personal information. You can get information about an individual can be found various ways, right? So people search websites, and then the people search returns the following information about a person or an organization: residential and email addresses, contact numbers and dates of birth, photos and social networking profiles, blog URLs, satellite pictures, and private residencies of private residences, and then upcoming projects and operating environment. So this used to be really fruitful. A lot of this information is getting filtered now. They're starting to filter some of this out because people are using it to find like movie stars' homes and rob them and things like that. There's a couple of movies out about that now, at least 2. People search online services. So you have Anyhoo, US Search, Intellius, 411, People Finders, People Smart, Vromal, Private Eye, People Search Now, and Public Background Checks. So these are some that you can that are in use today. So you can gather information from financial services. Financial services provide useful information about the target company, excuse me, such as market value of a company's shares, company profiles, and competitor details. So if you were in business and you want to attack some competitors because you heard that you're trying to break into a market space or whatever the reason, you can use this kind of stuff to find out who your competitors are and things like that. This is something you should look at for when you're doing commercial pen testing. Find out who the competitors are, and that should be something you include in your report.